What's been your message like to them in meetings and out here to make it as seamless as possible?
I think it's just work, just coming to work every day, just understanding and being professional. Change happens, being able to be adaptable. Coach Herm talks about adaptability and that being a major factor in the game of football just in general. So that's it. Just telling them, a lot of encouragement, keeping them positive, just letting them understand that, for them nothing's changed. Their goal should.
Bobby knows from playing and coaching and everything. It's just embracing adversity. So like hard things, facing hard things, are what make people different. And I think just our guys message to them in there is hey, you gotta embrace doing the things that are hard. That's what make people different, make people not easy. So let's do things that aren't easy and love doing it.
There's a lot of. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Well, there's a lot of focus on the passing attack on this team in particular right now. And you guys are instrumental in making sure that goes the way you hope that it does. How does that feel, and what do you think about just that capability in the offensive game?
I mean, it's great. Just having the experience of playing, just capitalizing on opportunities, and understanding that there's going to be mistakes. With mistakes comes growth, and as long as they, maintain goals and focus on being better, I think our passing attack will be the best. We're asking them, to be as good as they can be at this point. So, with that said, I think we'll be fine.
Yeah, I think we have from a system standpoint, we have such a broad pass game, whether it's by personnel, formation, and concept. So love the way that we're able to get people in the right positions with the best plays, doing the things that fit our strengths and minimize our weaknesses. And I think that's one of the beauties of our offensive system. And I think kind of like Coach Wade said too, for me personally, having coached wide receivers and quarterbacks, in my career, that part is very natural. And I think I get an opportunity to bring that into the tight end room, big picture, understanding the concepts, and from the receiver piece of it, really trying to develop their tools and make them threats and understand how to attack and create spacing and timing and all those things that they can make a play great. And so I'm having fun in there with that. I think that they're enjoying that too.
What kind of tools and traits does Jalen Conyers bring to your room as a new addition?
For a young guy, he's obviously really well-rounded in his skill set. He's 250 pounds. He runs well. He can change direction. I asked him today, how much you weigh? 235? He's like, no, Coach, I'm 250. You just, when you watch him move, you don't see that. He's a young player. He's still learning the game, both conceptually and our offense. And so really, that we say all the time, coach is overrated. Eventually, young guys are going to figure it out when you have guys around them doing it right. But the job of a coach is to accelerate that learning curve. And so that's kind of where I'm taking my challenge with him. And we've talked a lot about his learning style, his learning process, how he's preparing, and trying to work through that. I'm trying to make the game very simple for him to be able to play fast. And then as we go day to day, and you're still coaching the details to the level that they expect, and those guys that are in the room that are, Kurt Hodgson, those guys that have been around, you're still coaching the details every day, right? Trying to coach to an elite level, be an expert, give those guys an opportunity to be their very best, to be a pro, right? But then guys like Jalen that are young, that are swimming a little bit mentally, but they got to be on the field because they're that talented, right? You're trying to make the game simple. That's the challenge as a coach, right? Coach the very best in your room, but yet make the game simple so you can play fast. And so I think those guys are doing well. Jalen's doing a really good job. He's gotten better every day. And that's what I want to continue to tell him is, it's not about where you're at today. It's about where we're at in 3 weeks. And then we're going to look back to right now and you're like, holy crap, man, I've come a long way. Right? And then at the end of the season, you're going to look back and you're like, wow, I'm a totally different guy. So just trying to trust that process and keep going every day.
What's the transition been like for both of you guys, going from kind of a support role to being on-field coaching? Is it a big transition?
For me, it's a little easier because I started in the spring as a GA, and I was able to transition into actual coaching spots. So, and then obviously being in the room prior to the change, so it's a little easier for me. And the boys receive me well. I think we have a great rapport with each other. The trust factor's there. And, they understand, I think, what I'm trying to get out of them and what I'm trying to get done here. And it's really just about them and their development. So it's been really good.
Is your coaching style different than the predecessor?
Yeah, it definitely is. Having an advantage of being in there the whole year with him, you definitely want to, carry some things over that they relate to, that they're able to understand, and then, I want to put my own personal twist on it with my experience and, things that I can relate to more with them, which is the amount of football that I played. And so it's different, but there's some things you try to keep the same, just, to make sure they're comfortable.
Bobby, how will it feel wearing this thing on the field as opposed to the?
I love it, man. I'm all in. There's no doubt about it. That time for me was there, and it was, the legacy was left. It's been a long time. I enjoyed that time down there. It was great for me, but it's a new era, it's a new time. Arizona State is where it's at. I love Phoenix. I'm an Arizona guy all the way through. I was close to coming to Arizona State, so this is good for me. I enjoy it. Oh yeah, I got a lot of buddies who give me a hard time. They know better. Right now, 70-7, it's tough and types of stuff. It is what it is. Football don't lie.
Yeah. Each other, we're both three-sport athletes, so we go way back. And then, obviously having a chance to go with him to Boise was fantastic. And when we came here, I was the only one that came with him, so really knew the system, knew the offense, and so that obviously has created a lot of dialogue from us. And I just look at it like I have such a responsibility to him. And just really one of those guys that I want to be there to make life easier on him, be an extension of him, and help guys in whatever capacity I can, both the players on the field, the staff in the room with that transition. Just trying to get everybody on the same page and do whatever I can to support him. So, Zach's not a great coach, my boss, but he's also a good friend. I'm just really excited to be working with him.
So how much does that facilitate? Your transition seems to have been seamless, like it much easier, very easy.
Well, for me, I was prior to the last 2 years, the one at Boise and then this last year at Arizona State, I'd been on field for the 10 years before that. So, I'd coached receivers for 5 of those, and I coached quarterbacks for 5, and a coordinator for a year. So, for me, personally, I'm having a blast, right? Going off field and doing the things I had an opportunity to do really allowed me as a coach to work on some of my weaknesses. And then also you get the opportunity to observe a lot of great coaches. I got to be in Zach's position room for an entire year. You get to be around the guys that are on staff here. So you also get this opportunity to evaluate your own on-field coaching over that period of time and really try to grow. And now I've been taking notes, whether it's Coach Cav and the O-line for the 6 months before, which really prepared me, I think, for the tight ends and the run game and the protection game. That was fantastic. But just seeing him as a teacher in the classroom setting, to be around Zach for a year in Boise in the classroom setting, and some of these other guys I've had to be around is really fun now, getting a chance to apply some of those things back to my own tools and my own plan and go develop. And I think the players have been awesome. Obviously, the great thing here is we're not a new face coming in. And I think guys like Bobby, Coach Herm has good people. And we all got in this thing for the right reason. My dad was a head high school coach. I started off coaching high school. You do that not because of pay or job, but you do it because you love the game, because people helped you have an incredible experience with the game, and then you're like, man, I want to do that for these guys. And so that's what it's about. And I think even though we've been off field, still developing relationships with these guys. So now that when you enter into maybe a new coaching relationship with them, there's still a connection there. You've established that part. So from there, guys tend to give you the trust, and it makes it easy for you. You just got to go and you got to live up to it.
What do you think of your position room? You got a lot of talent in there.
Yeah, we do, and a lot of different types of guys. I would say the position room, the starting point for me is a bunch of really good kids, really good young men. From the top down, they're all a little bit different in their strengths and their weaknesses, and the things that we're trying to do and develop to help them to grow to be complete players. But I think within our offense, again, and the way we personnel things, you couldn't ask for better, because you really can get the right people in the right places on the right place. And so we're just trying to continue to grow right now, get better. When we get into preparing for game week, we get guys in the right places to play to their strengths. Everybody from, and I know, obviously Curtis is capable of, his ceiling is so high. I think the biggest thing for him is just staying healthy, taking care of his body, being proactive, and continuing to refine his tools. And then you got a young guy like Jalen that we talked about that has a ton of potential, but he's learning a new offense, learning a new system. He's still young, still developing. And then you got guys like Case Hatch, a true fullback type guy, but he's going to have an unbelievable role in our offense, and he's such a great leader. He's a team captain. He brings that to us. And unsung guys too, like John Stivers is a Harvard guy that was a grad transfer a year ago. He's coming back, and he's one of those guys that you can just trust. He's reliable. Like, he's going to do the right thing. He's the guy that he might not be the most athletically gifted, but he makes your room better because you're watching film, and the other guy's like, look what John's doing here. He's doing it right. And so it helps everybody else to see that. And then we got 2 young guys that, in Jake Ray and Ryan Morgan that also are coming up. We're trying to create competition in the room and create depth in the room. And so it's fun. Every guy has their things that they're working on. But as a group, I'm excited to see where we get when we get ready to go out and play our first game and continue to progress through the years.
And speaking of Stivers, he seems a guy, you talked about Harvard grad, a veteran. What kind of role do you envision for him this season? It seems like a guy kind of embraces maybe some of the unsung aspects of the position.
Yeah, I think John's going to be a fit where needed guy. We were talking about it today. Fit where needed guy. He can play the inline Y. He can play the off tight end, H-back type position. He can play the fullback position if we need. We're going to use some heavy sets. There's personnel groups in our goal line short yardage package where we got 3 and 4 kind of tight ends on the field at the same time, right? So, those are the things. Like, he's going to have that role, and we'll see where it goes. And we're still only in the 2nd week of camp, so we're not getting too much into defining yet exactly where everybody's going to be. Right now, putting our attention on growing and on developing and on preparing and just being as complete as we can at the position, and then we'll kind of see where we're at when we get ready to go in the season. But he has a ton of value. He really does.
Go back to Zach. How long have you known him then?
I mean, like, we piece a lot of stuff. Like, I've known him since I was at Cal Poly. He's at Eastern, like 2009. We were there at the same
You
time.
were both at assistant coaching capacity?
Yeah. So he was assistant coach at Eastern at the time. I was assistant coach at Cal Poly. We both kind of came up together, and he left and went to the Mountain West, and I left and went to the Sun Belt of Georgia Southern, and went our separate ways. And he went back to Boise, and I had a chance to go with him on an off-field job. And for me and my, professionally at the time, I think it was the right thing. For me to get back closer to the West Coast and to get into a different offense, which is a whole different conversation. But but we started piecing a lot of things together too, where we actually, like, oh man, I remember playing against you. Like, we were growing up in high school. Remember, we used to go to the Lomax camps together and things like that. So it's pretty fun. And like, our wives are good friends. We both have 2 kids, a boy and a girl. They're all play together and all that stuff. The COVID pandemic year, we obviously spent a lot of time around each other. And but I just feel like just such a responsibility to him to make his life easier, whatever I can to not let him down and help him succeed. Same thing with Coach Hearn and the rest of those. When you work with great people that treat people the right way, no matter where you're at on the totem pole, the top, bottom, they treat you the right way. They treat you with integrity, make you feel purpose, make you feel value. I've been in enough other places, around enough other people, and that's not always the case. I'm sure in our respective careers, we've seen that from everybody. And so when you're around people that treat you like that, you really want to do well for them. You don't want to let those people down. And I mean, the leadership in our building and the type of people that we have is unbelievable. I couldn't be more blessed.
And so you were with him at Boise for how long?
Just that one season.
Okay.
Yep.
What do you think Curtis's ceiling could be, or what could he reach this year?
Curtis has high goals, and I want those same things he wants. I don't know. We'll see exactly what that is, but he's got athletic DNA. He's 6'5". He's a former receiver. He's, he might not be he's not a 250-pound type kid, right? But he doesn't need to be. And look at the top, 25, 30 players in the NFL. Like, we did a study on that. They're between 6'4" and 6'6", and between 235 and 250 pounds, right? So, like, he fits the DNA mold. He's a former receiver, so athletically, the outside stuff comes much more natural to him. And so I think his ceiling is really high. He's just trying to polish his tools and take things to a new level, be able to get a little bit more movement, use his levers in the run game, and just stay healthy too, and be reliable, be trusted, and be counted on, by the entire offense and on a day-to-day basis. So he's working hard to do those things, taking care of his body and preparing.